this is a tough matchup for Mono Red. Mono Red has typically struggled with Lovestruck Beast decks, and this Lovestruck Beast deck is also packing copies of Petty Theft. So it means even if you go for a big Embercleave play, they don't have to kill your Annex, they can just bounce it.
And bouncing is far worse because then we don't get the little satyrs on the death triggers. You know, it just makes for a very annoying time for the aggressive player, but we are joining them in game 2 here. Riku Kumagai picking up a swift game 1 victory. Manya, what do you make of this board state so far?
Shahar certainly feeling ahead for the moment, does have that Elder Gargaroth already in play. However, Riku has a Torbrand that Shahar hasn't been able to deal with, and a copy of Stomp in hand that Shahar doesn't know about at the moment. So if Shahar goes for something like a Goldspan Dragon, that's unfortunately just going to get stomped by the Bone Crusher Giant thanks to the doubling of the damage from Torbrand. And that means that this deploy from Shahar not really going to be good enough to accomplish anything, and Rico is in a position where he could start getting aggressive soon. Bone Crusher Giant can attack into an Elder Gargaroth as long as there's a Torbrand in play.
Yep, no fear when Torbrand's on the battlefield, huh?
More or less none. I think something we'll see from Shahar here is no attack from the Gargaroth, perhaps play the land and put the Obosh in his hand, considering he wants to make the most of his mana against this aggressive deck. And then it'll really be a matter of what Riku draws, because if he can find a way to force through this Gargaroth, maybe an Embercleave, things can get really bad for Shahar really quickly.
Well, it's all gonna matter what's on top of the library here for Riku Kumagai. As we move to attacks, no attack there from the Elder Gargaroth. He is on blocking duty. And will we see the turn passed here, or is Shahar going to bluff something in hand? Oh, we're going to get Obosh to hand.
It's really tough to bluff something against Mono Red because they're naturally going to feel behind in the matchup. That goes doubly when you have, oh my goodness, that kills a Gargaroth.
That does.
Riku has 8 lands. He'll give one up to kill a Gargaroth.
Oh,
this is,
yeah.
oh my god, this is disastrous for Shahar.
Oh, goodness. It's not an Embercleave, but it still hurts like it is one. There goes an Elder Gargaroth, so no life, no card, no extra creature on the battlefield for for Shahar Shenhar off that Elder Gargaroth. And now it's swing time. Let's go. Turn him sideways
6
and
damage.
swing on in.
Yeah, and Riku still has enough mana to activate Castle Embereth and play Bone Crusher Giant. He can just use all of his mana very efficiently here. He's going to do the math and then do it, and this is really bad for Shahar because he's getting rid of one attacker on the board, but the best he can deploy next turn is one blocker, and Riku will still have access to 3 attackers.
Goodness me. And any additional burn spells or anything like that off the top is just going to spell super bad news for Shahar Shenhar. As, like you mentioned, he is able to get down the second copy of Bone Crusher Giant, so Shahar needs to find something good off the top of the library, and there's a Brazen Borrower.
Really, really
very good. All right, so we're going to see an attack here, most likely from all 3 creatures. Boom! In comes Brazen Borrower, sends Torbrand back to hand. Gargaroth won't die. There's a Frostbite, though, so that makes things a little bit more icky.
That's only 5 damage, fortunately. Now Shahar gets to at least block a Bone Crusher Giant, Petty Theft this Torbrand, likely make a Beast. I don't think life gain is good enough here. He needs board presence. He will still lose his Gargaroth thanks to that Frostbite in hand, but at least it means that he's getting rid of a Bone Crusher Giant, retaining some board presence, putting Riku at 0 cards in hand again, and can try to mount a comeback here, only taking 4 damage here. 5 if Riku decides to activate the Castle Embereth, which he may well do so.
Yeah, don't see why not at this point. The Gargaroth trigger on the stack. It's going to create their 3/3 beast. Like you mentioned, let's get some board presence here. Make sure that we can keep something in the way of these attackers.
It's interesting for Riku. He's currently presenting 10 damage from this attack. So if he activates Castle Embereth, it is lethal. But obviously, Riku should know that Shahar knows this. So it's a matter of, if I activate this Castle Embereth and Shahar bounces my Torbrand, I'm only going to have 3 lands left available to me, so I can't redeploy Torbrand this turn. That is really awkward. So I think it makes a lot of sense for Riku to actually forego the lethal here. He knows Shahar is going to do this anyways. He doesn't want to lose his Elder Gargaroth. So he forces Shahar's hand hand rather than try to bait him, and this means Riku can cast his Frostbite and still redeploy Torbrand, putting Shahar back in an awkward position for potentially next turn.
Excellent read there from the Japanese player, as it's playing out exactly like you mentioned, Mani. Frostbite's going to take care of the Elder Gargaroth. A Bone Crusher Giant will die. 4 points of damage, gets through. Down to 7 goes Shahar, but 7... going down to 7 is better than going down to 3, let's be honest.
Going down to 7 is better than going down to 3, and this board state now with Obosh from Shahar means that Riku does not have good attacks next turn. He can get rid of both creatures, but it's not going to be getting damage through, so Riku once again needs a top deck here.
All right, let's see what's he got. It's a Rubber of the Rich, all right, a haste creature. Unfortunately,
a haste
won't
creature
trigger,
is
though.
pretty freaking good. All right,
goodness me.
Obosh and Torbrand can trade here. The Beast and Bone Crusher Giant can trade here, but Rubber of the Rich...
there's things in exile.
There's things in exile?
Yeah, we just had a look now. Shahar just hovered over it.
There's a Gold Span Dragon in exile. That's not just things, Ailey. That's a huge thing.
Oh, hi there, Big Birdie. You want to come hang out? That's gonna hurt. Oh, no.
And the problem is the blocks from Shahar are more or less forced. He could put Obosh in front of Robber of the Rich and leave Torbrand alive, but it feels like he has to make these blocks.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, Riku has to activate the castle in order to get Obosh off the board with Torbrand. So he won't actually be able to play Goldspan Dragon this turn. The good news, however, is he's getting 5 damage through here, which means Robber of the Rich is lethal. Shahar only has Brazen Borrower, and that means Shahar now needs a top deck to survive.
All right, let's see what you got, Shahar. What's on top of the library here for the 2-time back-to-back world champion? Can he stay alive here in this match where Riku Kumagai is not giving him any breathing room?
Demon Bolt, that does it. that survives.
All right, survival.
Okay.
That is the key.
Ailey, are you feeling a stomp?
Yeah, I was about to say, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Shahar's a 2. I've seen this prophecy foretold many times.
Oh,
that's lethal. Castle Embreth. We just saw Javier win. We're seeing Javier win again, this time in the hands of Riku Kumagai.
Oh, there's so many things that just do it in the mono red deck, and it's so refreshing to see an aggressive deck just go, I don't care what you're doing, I'm gonna kill you right now.
Off the wall, onto the battlefield.